why did it initially take me so long and so much work at the outset? But now that I have it, how come I don't have to work as hard to maintain it?
We've got some answers on the science of muscle memory.
This is going to change the way that you see your body and the way that you see the starting over, quote unquote. Once you start training your muscles to adapt to more difficult conditions,
you look at all of the reasons why you're inadequate and why you're falling short and why you were so much better before. And what I want to introduce is looking at that body with, you know what you're doing.
You're like, oh, I was so fit. I was so strong. And then I wrecked it all. But you didn't. Hi, guys. Welcome back. I am Rachel. It's the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. We are here. We are excited. Kelsey, did you eat lunch?
I did eat lunch, yeah.
All right, okay.
I had a lovely sandwich for lunch today.
What kind? What kind?
Oh, it was a pub sub. What you know about that? Only the people in the South know about that. But my water bottle's doing this, so there's that. I don't know. Every time I feel like I wear a hat, I either feel like I'm kind of a famous person who, like, just can't, like, I have to paparazzi.
Shield me. No photos. No photos.
Like, I go in like one or two directions. I'm like, I better put my sunglasses on.
I like it.
Or I'm like in the other direction where it's like, hey, bro, you didn't brush your hair today.
I think it's giving paparazzi. I almost had to actually wear sunglasses, and maybe I still should have, because I'll tell you what, my dry eye sisters out there, my LASIK babes, getting through the night with these dry eyes is it's a whole ass thing. And I tried these new like gel drops. It's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be so super cool. Oh my God, you should have seen how I woke up the next morning.
Yeah, her eye was weird. Yeah.
It was a slit. It was just, I couldn't even, oh my God, but it was just.
We did a whole episode on dry eyes, by the by, and what types of like makeup is influencing it, screen time. I've been strongly considering blue light glasses recently.
So I love mine, and absolutely they take down on the dryness, but look how stupid.
I don't think you look stupid. It's giving like sexy librarian for me.
No.
Like if you go like,
I never.
Yeah, sexy librarian.
No, I never had to pick out glasses, and I'm just picking them out online and stuff, so I didn't get to try them, and they came in and I was like, like Jessie, what's her name? Jessie Decker. What's that girl? She had them on. And I was like, oh yes, I'm going to look just like that. And then I got them in. I was like, this is literally laughable. Like if I wear these in meetings, people will literally laugh me off the call. So
yes, I'm going to look just like that.
Yeah. Just like a celebrity that's like one of the most beautiful women. Yeah.
You are one of the most beautiful women, but also if we all looked the same, it would be weird.
But can I just look like her in these glasses though?
No.
No. Okay.
Nope.
So it's a no.
It's a no from me, dog. It you know what? No steppers. We all gotta like ride our own beauty. That's how beauty's invented.
Well, maybe there's some glasses out there for me, but it's not the ones.
Those. No, I'm just kidding. I like them. It might be your perception.
No, it's not my perception. Stop hyping me up for no reason. You're going to lose I'm not going to believe you on anything anymore. Because if you're going to tell me that that's okay, then what else will you tell me?
What else? Where does it end?
It'll be anarchy.
It'll be anarchy. When will she stop telling me I look cool?
I'll give a gift card for whoever comes back first with the movie quote there.
Movie quote you just dropped in there?
Yeah.
All right. No more though. That they had to have caught it right there because I caught it right there. So
Well,
you guys had to have
you're either elite or you're everybody else. Yeah.
You gift card for whoever caught that movie quote.
Oh, it's a good one.
It's
a good one.
I said no more hints.
I won't do it
only for the people on YouTube get that.
Yeah, that was only for the people on YouTube. So it wasn't even like, oh my God. Sheesh. Oh, I'm so excited about today. Because when I first started looking at this, well, the reason why I first started looking at it was because I was wondering something about myself. And I bet you wondered this too after you came back postpartum. You were like, yo, I'm still super, super strong. This is amazing. I wasn't lifting for max loads all during my pregnancy, but when I came back
and then you have to take several weeks of nothing loads.
Nothing loads.
That's the sneaky part. You think you go from pregnancy to like, oh, you were just pregnant and now you're after. No, there's you pushed out a whole human time of like you have a wound the size of a dinner plate in the middle of your body.
Just near the major organs.
Just near the major organs. And if you have too much pressure, too much contraction, too much actually like working hard, you push your organs in the wrong spot and then they start to prolapse. No one talks about that part, I feel like.
You don't want your organs falling out your body. You want to keep them in.
You want to keep them in. Yeah.
The goal
you got a human out, but now it feels like everything might fall out.
You're like stays the organs.
That was like the genuine like that was the like weird postpartum problem. Like no one talked about this part with the fact that like it's not just like, oh, do you feel like you have time after? Are you healing fast enough? Did you have a C-section? Did you have a VBAC? Like it wasn't just all of that. It was like, no, you need to take weeks without any type of pressure in that area because like your organs are gonna fall out. Like you just pulled the whole human through all of that, right? Like so now you start to jump and you're like, oh God.
Like, I don't want to lose
never mind
anything
lifting
here.
So then when you start to lift, it's very slow and then you're like, am I just gonna be lifting light forever?
But then you told me this story about how you were like the other day you were like talking to someone or showing Riley something or something and you were like and you just hopped up for a strict muscle up.
Yeah.
And just banged one out. And I like that whole idea of like that you hadn't done a strict muscle up in a very long time. You have had a lot happen since the last time you did one and the time that you did one now. But it's just, it was a thing where you hopped up, your body remembered, and you were able to do this incredible feat of strength that very, 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 very small percentage of the population can do, even smaller of women. And it was just like, yep. I've been here. I know this. And I have had many experiences like that postpartum. And I have also had many experiences like that now where, I am not working out 5 or 6 days a week anymore. I am very happy if I get in 3 days. And I am not lifting in the numbers and loads that I previously was when I was really focused on it before I had my son and when I made more time for it. And I am still able to do things that I really shouldn't have any business doing.
Well, here's the like thought process behind that is like when you say I shouldn't have any business doing, you think of like a person just starting out and say they're hitting 2 to 3 days a week working out. And you say like, is that going to get me something like a push-up or a strict pull-up as a woman? Those things are very hard. I think it's I don't want to say an exact number, but I'm pretty sure that it's less than 30% of the population that can do either of those things. So it's a very it's a much, much smaller percentage of humans in general who have the capability to do something like that, to do something physically like that. That is very difficult, especially for women for an upper body strength. And you think like, okay, that must be someone who is consistently at the gym, strength training, probably 5 days a week. And then you say like, what? I can do that. Why is that? Because
Why? Because I can jump up still. That's my example. I can jump up still and I still have a strict pull up. Now, initially getting a strict pull up,
yeah,
uh,
years.
years. Years of 5 days a week. That's the interesting thing. Years and years of 5 days a week training specifically for a pull-up, doing pull-up programs, doing accessory work like around the whole idea of I need to get a strict pull-up. Now I'm basically a schlub compared to the person that was doing all of that. And I can still hop up and do it. And you can still hop up and do a strict muscle up. And I wanted to know why. Why did it initially take me so long and so much work at the outset? But now that I have it, how come I don't have to work as hard to maintain it? And that's the question that I was really wanting to know. And so we've got some answers because
We've got
there's
some
science.
answers on the science of muscle memory. And this isn't just like, hey, once I could kick a soccer ball and like riding a bike. Like, I think a lot of people, when you think about muscle memory, initially go to almost skills that you've built over the years. And although that definitely is intertwined when we're talking about muscle memory, we're talking about actual muscle adaptation and the memory that your muscle has. And that I think is like such a cool thing to start to uncover a little bit. And when it comes to like hope for some of us who think about like, I'm starting over. And I hate that expression because like we're honestly just never like starting over. We're starting from experience. And that goes with every single thing in your life because you don't just erase everything that just happened, good or bad. You don't get to just like erase it when you enter in a new relationship and say, like, well, starting over. That's just not how it goes. And the same thing applies for your physical fitness. But we're going to talk about the actual science behind why and how, and like how you might use that to your advantage if you have taken some time off from the gym, or if you're taking some time off from strength training, or, putting fitness as kind of like one of your top 5 in your life, and how you might be pleasantly surprised.
I hope you're pleasantly surprised because I know I was. And I think you're absolutely right that we are all kind of aware of the idea of muscle memory when it comes to coordination type of things. But actually, it works the same with strength adaptation. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised to hear this because once you start training your muscles to adapt to more difficult conditions, they do not go back to the muscles that they were before. And how that sounds when take a lot of time off or say you're starting over or whatever, this is going to change the way that you see your body and the way that you see the starting over, quote unquote, because you're never, ever going to start back from the place that you did before. And I think that that's a hopeful thing personally because I think it gets a lot of people down when
Well,
they
yeah,
take big breaks.
100%, because we're always like kind of like looking back and comparing to some type of like previous self, or and but we often look back with rosy colored glasses at our previous self
True, that's true.
and think about that other person. Whatever person isn't here is put on a pedestal of something that like maybe they were at one blip but didn't maintain for a long period of time. But like it just like it has so many variations that go into it, and we really do look back at just those times with those experiences a lot of time with a lens that isn't totally accurate. And And I do this too, 100%. And I just want to say, like, I'm not just talking to people and being like, you're looking back with a lens that isn't accurate. Like, we all do this because our memories are not they're mixed with emotions that are felt in that time. They're mixed with they're just convoluted with so many different things that it doesn't look entirely accurate if you took a bird's eye view and just said like, well, I looked at this from a satellite and this is the video footage, right? Like there's so many things that go into it and our memories change based on new experiences. It's a whole thing. So when we're thinking about starting over and you're feeling like this, you're thinking my strength is down, my endurance is down, my muscles are smaller, I can see them looking smaller, my body fat is up, and I'm just starting all over. And the assumption really is I've lost everything, and I have felt this way too. And my hope when we start to talk about what this reframe is that you reframe this idea of losing everything and how you talk to your body throughout this process in a very different way. Because a lot of times when we're that person, when we're quote unquote starting over, we're starting from zero, we lost everything. There's a lot of shame that is just riddled all over that. You're not what you used to be. Look at you now. You just sat on the couch with blah, 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 blah. You look at all of the reasons why you're inadequate and why you're falling short and why you were so much better before. And what I want to introduce is looking at that body with, you know what you're doing. You remember this. You can do this because we've done it before. Like you have this memory built in you. And I'm so glad I have this body to start from. I hope we start to change that because what's really happening is your body does remember.
So it's not only a good reframe mentally, because who wants to start when they think they're starting back at zero after, long, hard periods of building something and working on something and then kind of letting it slip? Who wants to start again when they know they have to start all over? Yeah, that's a great mental cue to say to yourself, like, hey, no, we're not starting all over. You're good, girl. That'll get you there, sure. But the fact is the science says you're not even starting over. You're not starting at zero. So this is going to help you in the following ways. This is the science behind why. Now, you don't keep all of it. Okay. I used to have 9 strict pull ups. That was my all time record. I had 9 consecutive strict pull ups. Now I'm like, to get the one. But I still have one. And the reason why is because when you start resistance training, your body goes through several changes and we call them adaptations because what you're doing is you're asking your body to take what it can currently do and do better, girl. You got to do better. That's not good enough. And when we're that's why we're so obsessed with like, hey, you guys pick up the weights, pick up the weights, pick up the weights, because cardio queen, you are training endurance. Yes, absolutely. But when we're wanting to force muscle adaptation, we need to add resistance. And what happens at a muscular level when you are forcing your body to adapt to tougher conditions, weights, heavier weights, more heavier weights, what you're doing is your muscle fibers are actually experiencing mechanical tension, which is you lifting, and they tear. This is micro damage. This is completely normal. This is not like, I tore my bicep, I'm out for 2 months. This is your muscles experiencing the need to repair after being damaged. And what happens is it reinforces what was damaged. So you do damage to your muscle by asking it to adapt. And then your muscle responds by reinforcing itself to be more better the next time you ask for that adaptation. So you already know we make the best workout gear, but one of our best products, our highest rated product on our website is actually our collagen. If you have not heard about Glow Up by CVG, you are missing out. There is almost 700 5-star reviews on this product because it is such an amazing supplement. Actually, Looking at it today, there are only 2 1-stars that were meant to be 5 stars. They love the product, they hit the wrong amount of stars. This is one of our most popular products for a reason. It dissolves like no other collagen. It's type 1 and 3. You're gonna have healthier skin, better joint mobility. Everything about this collagen makes it easy to put into your daily routine. So if you haven't tried Glow Up, get on CVG.com and make sure to add it to cart today. It's our best product.
So the thing that I want you to think about when you're thinking about muscle adaptation is though, like you're creating new pathways for your muscle fibers. So once those pathways have started, once they are created, and you can think about this in the same way that you have, when your mind goes to the same thing over and over, and that's what you've trained it to do. And it's quicker to get there, right? The same thing happens with your muscle fibers though. So if you have trained a certain thought process, you say like immediately when this thing comes up, I go to this, and then you realize that happens over and over and it happens more quickly, right? So the same thing happens with your muscles. So as soon as you start to create those new pathways, and it is harder the first time, I'm telling you. So if you think like, oh, well, it took me a million years to get my first, pull up, my first push up, whatever that kind of like goal was for you, that is true because you were sledding down. Um, you were the first person to sled down the hill at that point. You were paving the way. There was no other tracks. You were the one that was going. But now that we start at the top of the hill again, and you start to think about sledding down, there's already tracks. There's already tracks being laid. So maybe it snowed again, maybe there's some filled in, but it's still there. There's still a pathway that's there so that you do have a pathway that you're able to follow and get there a lot quicker.
So when you do that initial damage, what is happening is that your body, in order to repair, has this process. It's called muscle protein synthesis. So basically, you are in this order. If your synthesis is happening at a greater rate than your breakdown, then your muscle is going to grow, right? So let's just take like an individual muscle, for example. You make these micro tears in your bicep and your body responds with protein synthesis and it is repairing at a faster rate and that's why we say don't overtrain because you're doing yourself damage. You need to be repairing faster than you're tearing in order to make gains. But then, okay, so now that's called hypertrophy when your muscle is actually making physical gains and growing. But it's not just the muscle fiber that's actually growing, it is the nuclei. And muscle cells are unique in the fact that they have multiple nuclei. It's not just like other cells in your body have one, but muscle cells have more than one. And basically, what they do as the role in your muscle in that cell is they're like kind of like a command center. So they are like telling when it's time to do the protein synthesis. Like they're the ones being the director. Yes, command center says build protein. Okay. So when your muscle grows, it adds more nuclei because it needs more nuclei in order to fill up the space. So, like the bigger the muscle, the more nuclei it needs. That is why when you grow muscle, it's larger, it has more command centers and hubs to repair at a faster rate. We also see this is why it demands more energy and metabolic rate. And we talked about that when it comes to how you can quicken up your metabolism through building muscle. But the thing is, even if those muscle fibers deflate from not being challenged and not being adapted, the nuclei remain. And that's exactly the the sledding path that Kelsey's referring to is like, you're not going to lose all the extra nuclei that you built in those muscle fibers just because the muscle gets smaller.
I love the science behind it
Oh my
because
God.
I know because like as soon as you start to think like I always take this into a practical standpoint of like when I look at my muscles and I'm like, y'all, you little a bunch of little nuclei in there. You ready to grow again? Because like like there's only so much it can support and you know that you need some challenging adaptation to be able to continue to grow, but like that it's already in there, and that just gives me a whole bunch of hope. But I want to also set this as a reminder. I mean, if you listen to this podcast before, you know how important strength training is. But listen, this is for if we've started, if we have had that muscle adaptation, if we've built muscle over time, and then, we've taken a significant amount of time off, and then we're looking at coming back. And all of that is very real. But when you think about this like start stop method, if your start stop method is continuous, like long form cardio on the elliptical, think about what the difference is between those two muscle adaptations and the nuclei that is still continuing to remain within your muscle fibers. Think about the difference between those two. And if you're thinking to yourself, like, Kelsey, does that mean like if that is my choice of fitness that I'm not going to maybe be starting at the same point? Yes. In many ways, yes. Because if you've never reached that muscle adaptation, then what are we getting back to? That's a more difficult question, right? So if that is where you choose to train, where it's this like long form cardio and you don't work strength training into your routine, you are going to have a more difficult spot when it comes to restarting again.
Endurance is a bit of a tricky that isn't the same as hypertrophy. So when we're referring to all of this adaptation, what we're talking, and that it's not that it doesn't happen during
It's not that it
cardio.
doesn't happen, for
It's
sure.
not that it doesn't. It's just that it happens at a different rate and a bit of a slower rate because resistance training is the key to muscle hypertrophy. Um, in a more direct route, right? And that doesn't mean that, for your heart health and
No,
like,
it's all
it's like
valid, and
it's
it's all
all
and it
valid.
and it's all valid in a sense of, like, is, cardiovascular health important? Hell yes. It sometimes, especially for women, it kind of holds this, it's on this pedestal almost of, if I'm going to fitness and I'm gonna get the most out of my fitness, I'm gonna do something that makes me breathe hard, when in reality, when we want to get the biggest bang from our buck, like we're looking more towards strength training, we're looking more towards resistance training. And of course, we have some of those endurance or metabolic pieces in there where we have metabolic conditioning. But when we're looking for what is the biggest bang for our buck, what is going to have that adaptation that is going to serve us in many years to come, so that at stages of your life when you're only able to train maybe 2-3 days a week, are you able to maintain a sufficient level of fitness for you during those times? And you want to have that good foundation to be able to do that, and the best way to do that is to have those muscle fibers that have been previously built.
Okay, so let's take a fictional person, me, who
Don't
is
know, or a
like,
fictional person, it's me.
I don't know. I'm done with college sports. I have no direction. I don't really know how to work out. I'm going to go to Workout World. And I see people in the squat racks. So that seems like a good idea. I have a hard time squatting the bar and work, 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 work. Over the 6 months, I am able to squat 100 pounds. This is a real story. It's all fictional. I'm able to squat 100 pounds. This is a very big deal. I went from having trouble with the bar to squatting 100 pounds. Then something, 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 I don't know. Don't go back to the gym for 3 months. When I come back in, I do not have trouble squatting the bar. The reason for that is that even though I detrained, which is what you call it when you take any kind of extended break, I detrained. When I start training again, those nuclei that helped me get to the 100-pound back squat, which I was very proud of at the time, are already in place. So the protein synthesis is going to happen faster. So when I come in the second time and I start squatting an empty bar and I make some micro tears, protein synthesis happens way faster because I have more command centers telling the muscles to repair. And so all of a sudden, my muscle is rebuilding more efficiently than it did the first time. It's like you get to skip the build it from scratch phase, which is everybody's least favorite phase anyways. I mean, nobody likes building anything from scratch. Like, you bread people are like, I love my bread babies from scratch. You're crazy. I get to skip over having trouble squatting the bar because I did it the first time. And why I heard this like quote that really resonated with me on like how this kind of works is like the very first time you go in and you resistance train, you have to like literally build the factory, like lay every single brick in the factory. But the second time you come in, all you have to do is start the production line again. The factory is already built. I don't know, I like analogies.
No, I love that one because it kind of it makes sense because when you're thinking about if you're someone who's starting over and you're like, no, but I'm looking in the mirror, I have picked things up and it feels challenging. I just got winded running up the stairs. If you are someone who is feeling like that's me, what you're experiencing is very true. That is reality and that is very true. And I want you to know that when you stop lifting, your protein synthesis stopped, your muscles shrink, your strength decreases, like your muscle strength is in atrophy because like maybe you've been sitting here for a long period of time. I know that is something that has been very real for me, for anyone who has had to feed or rock a baby for hours. You're like, there's no way that my glutes are ever firing again. They have been
They died
squished.
They died in this rocking chair.
They died in this rocking chair, and they have just been flattened, and they are never coming back. And I can't even. Sometimes you sit there and you're like, I can't even feel them anymore. Like if you're feeling this, guys, like I'm here with you. Like I totally understand. And I'm like, that's muscle atrophy right there. I can feel it because I can't feel it. You know what I mean?
Real time muscle atrophy.
And you're just thinking like hours. It's just squished in there. And you're like, this baby will never be able to and then you carry them around. You carry them like this, like in all the wrong ways. But that is why
you do have a good rapper though. He's a good rapper. I did not. I had like
did you just like hang?
Literally a sack of potatoes. He didn't even make an effort. And I thought it was a boy thing because, you know,
because they got stuff.
I don't know. I don't know. I just always found girls to be better rappers. But no, you got a good rapper. So I
wonder if it's because, and I'm not sure about this at all, but I wonder if it's because like his sister has tried to pick him up since.
Fear for your life.
So
it's a fear for your life type thing.
so he does, and you can see when she picks him up how much he wraps like with his arm, like he like tucks it around her. So I don't know if that is like if that plays a part where like, you know,
I should have made him fear for his life more. That's what I should have done.
Someone's gonna catch me. when a 4-year-old picks you up, like maybe someone's not gonna catch me, but you're close to the ground, so.
That's it. That's totally it. I did not make him fear for his life enough. Well, this is a life lesson.
So I just want to say like that is all real. And even when your muscle size decreases, strength declines, body fat percentage goes up, there is still nuclei present. So even though you think
more
that
than
it's
what you started with,
more than what you started with. And that's why when you think of like you're just starting the conveyor belt again, that it's so valuable because like what you feel, you're sitting there going like, what I feel though is muscle atrophy. And I know that it's not there and it's shrunk in size. And you're like, Kelsey, I can see it. It's shrunk in size. And you're right, it has. But what I'm telling you is that when you go to turn it on again, when you go to get working again, it is going to adapt faster and is going to come back in a way that is not like you when you started, not like way at the beginning.
You know what else I think will push this home for
Because the
people is just
blueprint
like
stays.
the right. So the anecdotal, like, you've never been sore, like, when you're first starting fitness. Like,
Yeah.
when you're like, "Okay, I really have never been in, like, a formal gym setting. I've never really done any resistance training. I'm gonna give this a go." That level of sore is so extreme. It's like, uh, I everybody can relate to this. I have never felt soreness like the first time I went and tried, like, back squatting or bench
Listen,
pressing when I had never done it before.
I thought I came at fitness when I found no, okay, so, like, fitness has been present in my life forever. But when I really came at, like, starting CrossFit and, like, actually, like, weightlifting, I thought I was at a pretty good, like, metabolic place. I did some lifting, like, blah, blah, blah. But my goal wasn't to build muscle, it was to be thin. So, when I went to strength training, I'm telling you, I had times where I distinctly remember, this is a long time ago now, like, being like, I can't actually take off my shirt. I'm like that sore,
It lives
like,
here
I
now.
cannot take this off because my arms will not go up. And feeling
But
like,
tell
"Is this
me but
forever? Is
tell
this how
me
everyone else feels?" And, like, realizing, like, they didn't feel
but no, but tell me, did you ever feel like that when you started again after having Kobe?
No, no, I've definitely felt very sore,
Yeah,
and there's a
but
different
not like
way,
that.
but not like that. No, not
That's what I'm
like
saying.
that.
I always wondered why that was. Like, why
If you were, like,
like,
just a baby back, because that's what I mean when you remember back. I always thought, like, sometimes, like, looking at this, I was like, "Well, was my perception of being uncomfortable different?" And, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was I just being, like, a big baby about it?
no,
Like,
science
my
says
protein was down.
n
Like
science says that was a real thing and that you will likely never be able to feel that level of sore again. Thank you,
We will
Jesus.
never be here again.
Uh,
That's 2 movie quotes for you guys.
ooh. You want one? You want a gift card? Get in the comments on YouTube. Let us know what it's from. But no, it's real though. You will likely never experience that level of soreness again because the amount of nuclei that you had when you went back to lifting after having Kobe was probably quadruple what you had when you first started strength training. And what that nuclei does is it signals the protein synthesis, which is the repair. So, like, all of that repair that's happening with, like, when you're starting from ground zero, there's just not enough nuclei in there. It's just that's why you're sore for longer. It's
Yeah.
so more extreme. But I think that this is a really, like, hopeful thing for me because I'm thinking to myself, okay, so take extended break and have that stopper of like, oh God, if I start again, I'm going to be and let's be honest, you will be sore. That is what muscle adaptation demands. It demands that muscle fibers be tearing, and when that happens, there's some kind of process that lactic acid, I don't know, something, and that creates soreness. But it's not gonna be that same level, and I feel like that kinda takes a little bit of the fear away of, like, the restart, and that's what all of this does, honestly, for me. It's not gonna take as long, I'm not gonna be as sore, and it's not gonna be as hard to get back to the place that I wanna be. Yes!
Yes, let's get in there. Let's get in the
Okay,
gym.
I'm
Hey.
lacing up my sneakers, and that's what I was really hoping that we could do with this episode, is for anybody who is in that place where it's like, Dang, girl. Maybe you're romanticizing her. Maybe she maybe she, but, like, you're like, "Oh, I was so fit. I was so strong. I was so and then I wrecked it all." But you didn't.
Hey, you.
Thanks for getting in touch with the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast.
We love your questions and adore hearing from you.
Leave us a hello,
A burning question,
feedback.
or anything else you want to share with us on the podcast.
We will play your message live on air if we can.
Thanks for being an amazing friend. Stay safe and moving. I also like this idea that we just wrecked it all too. I just want to insert in here that we all go through a million different changes in this life, and we're never what if the idea is that we were never meant to go back? We were always meant to push forward, and we were always meant to, like, have, like, reborn and, like, find a new version of ourselves, and sometimes you have to lose certain pieces to be able to do that. So I always, like, encourage people who think you're, like, starting over, but, like, what did you do during this time that was some type of a, like, major change? Like, what was your focus? Like, what did you switch it over to? Or, like, what happened during those moments where, like, fitness may have taken a backseat, and 100% it's gotta come back in because we want you on this earth for longer, and maybe it will never take the number one spot, but what happened during this time, and, like, how do we start from where we are right now to moving forward? Because your body, from a biological standpoint, is starting there. Your mind is what's lagging behind. Your mind is what's holding on to something that was, because your body's saying, "Nah, we remember this."
Nah, we remember, girl. Don't
And, like,
worry. Don't
your
worry
muscle
about it.
fibers are saying, "You remember this." Your muscle fibers are saying, like, "We're not starting from 0, we're starting from experience." What I need you to do is have your mind catch up with the rest of that, because, like, as soon as we start to think about this in a way of, um moving forward, and in a way of, like, I'm starting from experience, and I'm starting from a place of my body knows what it's doing, and I'm going to build on what's already been built, that's where we really start to see, like, regrowth and change.
Isn't that such a huge catalyst too to just, like, thank you anyways, shame. I'll see you out. I'll see you out. Because how can you shame a body that has already worked so hard? And maybe it was 6 months ago, maybe it was a year ago, maybe it was 10 years ago, but it's already worked so hard. How can you shame it and say, you're worth nothing now? It has biologically so much experience that is going to get you back there faster, and mentally, you know what it is to do hard things. So the second time around is gonna be so much better than the first. It's gonna be faster, it's gonna be easier, and it's gonna be more efficient. And if that is the drive that it takes to get back in the gym, even if you're gonna go 1 or 2 days a week, if you're gonna saying, "Ugh, well, that's not worth doing," like, I unless I can train the 5 or 6 days that I used to when I was my fittest, it's not even worth doing. I can tell you that in that exact same situation, the 2 or 3 days is absolutely worth it, because what I'm building, my body is not gonna forget. And in years, I'm still going to continue to have all the nuclei that I have now and then some. And it will be easier in 5 years. It will be easier in 10 years. It will be easier to maintain because it remembers.
That's something I would just wanna remind people when you're thinking about taking, like, if you're, like, ahead of time thinking about, like, just taking time off, or, like, this is a season where, like, I'm just gonna I'll come back to it in the summer or something like that. I really want to I really want to get you to reconsider, because just because you decrease doesn't mean you actually stop. And the stopping is where that's where we keep it on a pedestal. That's where we keep it like, I do all or nothing. Like, no, keeping fitness as just a constant part of your life. And maybe it doesn't take, you know, as much time as it did once, and that it might again, but, like, it still stays constant. And I think that's one of the seasons that I'm in right now, is that, like, fitness is a constant part of my life. It's definitely not in the front seat. My children are very little, and I it's things are different every second and every day, and I don't wanna miss those times, and I'm okay with saying in my life right now, I am genuinely okay with saying, like, "Well, fitness is not in my top priority, but I wanna be strong and I wanna be healthy for them, I wanna show them a healthy lifestyle." So I make sure to consistently keep it in, but I don't have the 2 hours that I once had in the gym. Oh. That
Oh.
was laughable.
I miss you, girl.
And, like, there are times where I bring their packet, but they sit in there and they will only stay in there for a certain amount of time. So the amount of work that gets done or the ice cream, the fake ice cream that I have to purchase in between in between sets needs to happen, but I'm still there and I'm still making it happen. So I just want to encourage everybody who might be in a season like that. And there's so many different seasons, not just when you have children. I remember thinking this a similar thing when I was getting my master's degree, when I was working a
Mhm.
lot, when you're going through different stages where you just have a really lot going on and you say, like, you know what, like, I just don't think I can do it at this time. I would ask you to reconsider in a way that says, I can't do it like I once did, but I can continue to make health and fitness a priority in my life in a just smaller scale. What can I do? So take away what you can't. Like, that's part of the equation for sure, but look at what you can do. What are the pieces that you can do? Are you moving to home workouts? Are you moving to dumbbell only workouts? What can we do on a daily basis that still keeps health and fitness as a priority in your life that allows you to live this long, beautiful life?
Even if they're smaller and less strong and less fit than they once were, those nuclei are still in there saying, "Should you need us?"
Should you need us?
Oh, there's my phone. All right, we
Third.
got 3. We got 3. If you can't get any of these, you're not in our friend group anymore, all right? We live and die on movie quotes, okay? Either you get one of those or you gotta go. Should you need us, we're here, and we're ready to start the production line again, and that's it. That's the hope for the day. If that's not hopeful enough, I don't know.
That's the hope for
I'm
the
so
day.
fired up about it.
I'm so fired up about it. If you are someone who is, I'm going to quote this, starting again, let us know in the comments. Let's chat about it. Let's find a place for you to start from, a place of strength and acceptance, and knowing that you are not starting from ground zero, so that we can get some new, language in that, because I know you're not alone. And there are a lot of women who are listening to this and are in the same spot that you are in right now. So let's lean on each other during these times. So if you're one of those, let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. And we have 3 movie quotes during this episode. Mine
Who
were
can
super
get
quick,
all
so I don't know.
3?
Ooh, I don't know.
'Cause there was a wide variety there.
Yes. Yeah,
So
that was definitely, we're at different times.
I
Yeah,
know.
there's a wide variety of genres there.
There's a brand new outfit to get restarted in the gym if that's where you are. There's a brand new outfit waiting for you if you get all 3.
All
So,
3.
we love you guys. We'll talk next week and get that production line a-flowing again, will you, girl? You don't have to build the factory. Just turn the switch.
Just turn the switch.
Love you.
Love you.